Hello, fellow classmates. This is Tabitha Hughes, and this is History 901 Doctoral Research, the first video blog. So, I would like to share with you my dissertation topic that I plan to pursue throughout this course and the remainder of the dissertation process. So, the preliminary title is Thou Shalt Not Suffer a Witch. It is a comparative study of how the British Empire treated gender and witchcraft from the High Middle Ages to the 19th century. This is an exciting topic that fits into the historical field, which has blossomed and grown in modern history as anthropologists, historians, political scientists have looked at the past, and particularly into witch trials across both Europe and in North America, to see if they can find various reasons and plausibilities for why witch persecutions and executions broke out and spread in the manner that they did. So I will be looking at 5 crucial questions throughout this dissertation process. The first really has to do with superstition and the belief in witchcraft. And so the question is really, what is it about witches and the practice of witchcraft that capture the imagination of people, regardless of geographical location, historical time period, and cultural and social constructs? We see witch persecution and the belief in witchcraft from the earliest of times, even into modern times. So what is it about that captures the imagination? The second question that I will be exploring deals with the medieval time period. And so the question is, why does the European medieval story showcase such a hotbed of witchcraft activity? And more importantly, did the witchcraft story end with the conclusion of the Middle Ages? So this is an interesting question. Did witch persecution and witch accusation kind of fall to the wayside at the end of the Middle Ages as times changed and the Enlightenment came, or is this something that continued? The third question that I will be exploring has to do kind of with my centralized topic, which deals with the British Empire. So that question that I'm exploring is, what was the witchcraft experience in the British Empire, and how did that experience manifest itself beginning in the Middle Ages and continuing into the early modern era, and particularly the 19th century? And a question that piggybacks off of that is, who were those that were accused of practicing witchcraft within the British Empire? Were identified witches mostly female? Were they males? Both? So that is, of course, a centralized theme of my dissertation topic as we look to explore the connection between gender and witchcraft within the British Empire. And then finally, the last question is, how did the witchcraft experience differ between various areas within the British Empire, in particularly England proper, Scotland, the North American colonies that would later become the United States, and British India. So this being a comparative study, I really want to look at a broad area, the British Empire itself, but then narrow it down into these specific locations within the empire to see, was the idea of witchcraft and gender treated the same across the empire, or did different locations handle the idea of witchcraft differently? So, excuse me, the context of this topic fits in, of course, with religious studies, folklore, superstitions, and how those things shape culture and society. And so when we think about the historical significance, we can really look at this topic of gender and witchcraft in a social and cultural context, thinking in regards of, was there a patriarchal system that sought to marginalize one group over another? And particularly, if we're looking at gender, were women accused and executed and persecuted more as witches? And if so, was that a deliberate attack on women in terms of keeping them in their place within medieval society and then continuing forward? Was it intentional? Was it not? What shaped the views of those living within the British Empire that had the power? Was it religious in nature that was shaping their views? Was it political? Was it social constructs to ensure that women were subservient to men in their roles and in their power? Was it a balance of power? And so those are kind of those overarching threads that I'm seeking to explore that fit so nicely into the historical context of feminist studies and so forth as we look back at the past through different lenses. I'm excited about this study, and I'm hoping to discover if there truly is a correlation between why women were persecuted, if they were persecuted more than men, and if so, why. Was there a connection in establishing a male-dominated power system, a patriarchy? Was there misogynistic tendencies and leanings, and that's why females were persecuted as witches? Was there a difference in, males were persecuted in a certain place within the British Empire versus women? So I think that this is an exciting topic as I explore deeper, and I think that it's one that has not been fully explored, especially from the angle of one empire in particularly. Yes, there's been studies about witchcraft and witch persecution in France and the Holy Roman Empire in terms of Germany especially. But the British Empire being in such a wide, vast area in India and Scotland, across the Atlantic into the North American colonies. So I'm really excited to see where this research leads, and hopefully my preliminary hunches will prove to be correct, but I'm certainly open to going where the research leads. So I'm looking forward to exploring this dissertation topic, and I am hoping that each of you in turn are just as excited about yours. Thanks.